down north is kind of like having church singing. And they're going, what? They have never heard of it.
It's like a beach up there, places.
6 o'clock.
So, yeah, so.
It is 6 o'clock, so we'll go ahead and call this meeting of the Greensburg City Council to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call. Councilman Charlton is absent, but we still have a quorum and we'll proceed with our business tonight. First up is approval of tonight's agenda. Any council member have any questions on the agenda or any modifications to it?
I'd make a motion to approve the agenda. Second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Agenda approved. Citizen comments. Katie Lee.
I know all of you, but I'm a little nervous. So, okay, I'm Katie Lee Harrison. I live over on Grant Street by the pool. And Christy and I had a conversation last week, the week before. I just came in to ask about zoning specifications for our block. Just with the possibility that the neighboring house to the west of us could potentially be sold to the Upland and Hunts. I asked her if there were any zoning requirements or restrictions that could prevent us from being completely surrounded by their business structure. And she said that there were a lot of things to look into and questions, but that it might be something worth bringing before the council just so that you guys are aware that there are some concerns or questions about their operation and do they fall within our residential zoning parameters. For the majority of the year, their business operates pretty much like an Airbnb. There's people that come and go and that's fine. During pheasant season, they have 3 houses within that block. One house has 4 bedrooms. The other 2 have at least 5, if not more than that. Each of those bedrooms has four beds, 2 bunk beds. Some of them have 3 bunk beds. But given that, even at a 65% rate of occupancy for the season, that's 465 strangers that come to my residential block within a 3-month period, which if I live near a business area would not be all that surprising, but it is residential. We have had issues with guests in the past, which we've dealt with Cutter or Roger or whomever was managing at the time. Guests have backed into our fence and pushed out fence panels that we've had to repair. Dogs frequently run through our property. They leave behind their belongings. Our children are afraid of dogs. At least one of our kids is terribly afraid of dogs, so it makes it challenging for him to enjoy being outside during those months. They have fed our children, just being out in their yard, offered them food and snacks, and assured me it was only Diet Coke in their red Solo cup, which I was like, it should only be nothing, but thank you that it's not more than Diet Coke. They, for all intents and purposes, they operate as an all-inclusive resort. They provide all the meals, lodging, obviously, the guided hunts. They dress birds for them, and they stock cases of beer in the garage, which I don't mind people drinking, but it is just a party for 3 months of the year. It's constant. It's from the afternoon through the night, and then it starts again as early as 5:30 the next morning when they get up to go on their hunts. So if there's a possibility that they could expand to our neighboring property or even build on the lot that they own for parking, I would like to know that they aren't operating beyond what is expected and required for the area that they are in according to our code. So I just wanted to make
thank you, Katie Lee, and thanks for bringing it to our attention, and I'm sure Stacy and Christy can dive into our codes and ordinances just to see, make sure that there's nothing amiss there. And we'll, I mean,
Yeah,
we go by our code book and,
we'll take a look at it and, report back, and I guess if you have any questions in the meantime or comments that you'd like to make, you can come in and visit with us about it.
any other public comment tonight? Hearing none, we will move on to our next item of our agenda, and that is our consent agenda. And that includes the minutes of the August 19th meeting, as well as appropriations ordinance 1275.
I make a motion to approve the consent.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Consent agenda approved. All right, moving on to items of business tonight, and they all deal with our 2025 budget. First up, we do have a pair of hearings we are required to hold. I think the first one we probably do would be the revenue neutral rate hearing, followed by the overall budget. So at this time, I will open the intent to exceed revenue neutral rate public hearing to public comment for anyone who would like to comment on our proposed 2025 budget. Hearing no comments on our intent to exceed the revenue neutral rate hearing, I will close said hearing, and we'll move on to a hearing over the overall 2025 proposed budget. So entertain any public comment on the city's 2025 proposed budget.
Stacy, you mentioned in your packet that you had no correspondence with any citizens or anything
No.
concerning this.
To my knowledge, nobody's called in to ask any questions, and
Hearing no public input on our 2025 proposed budget, we will close the public budget hearing and move on to our next item of business. And that is resolution 2024-06. Do we have anything before that?
no.
Okay. So, yes, next item of business is resolution 2024-06, which is the city's official notice that we will exceed the revenue neutral rate in 2025.
I'd make a motion to adopt resolution 2024-06, notice to exceed revenue neutral rate. Second that.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution 2024-06. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, moving on to our final item of business, and that is the official adoption and publication of our 2024 or 2025 budget.
It has been advertised as required,
Yeah. So
and
this is
it's
just,
unchanged since the last time you saw it.
this would just authorize us to turn it into the county clerk. and-
Yes, and then onto the state,
Yeah.
correct.
We need a motion to adopt.
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
It has been moved and seconded to adopt the proposed and published 2025 budget. Any further discussion? Does this need to be a roll call, or is this just, okay,
I think just a voice vote's fine.
okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Opposed? Well, the 2025 budget is adopted. All right.
Give my report, I'll have you.
Yeah, we all sign it. Yep, while that's going around, Stacy, we'll send on what's been going on.
Yep. Last Wednesday, the 28th, the equipment items that were previously approved by council to sell with Big Iron Auction sold, and I've included a list there in your packet for what pieces we sold and then for how much. Some of those have already been picked up by the buyers, some of them still need to be picked up. So you might still see them on the highway by the car wash. I didn't notice today if there were any still sitting there, but some of those have already been removed from our property. They have been removed from our insurance coverage and our vehicle inventory list. And then the proceeds from the sale of these items will be put in our equipment reserve fund. As we've previously discussed, we're looking into some, couple of pickups as replacements to these items. So those will be brought to you for future approval. I'm doing some research to resume and move forward on a couple of property abatements that had started many years ago and stalled out. So I'm going back through those to see where the process is, what was taken and where they ended, to pick those back up again. So you can look for an update or for that to come before you should it require governing body approval. Yesterday was the last day of the 2024 pool season. We had a slower day because it was not near as hot as it has been, but still a nice day. You may still see some high schoolers over there this week. I've given permission, as in previous years, for the cross-country team to use it for some workouts. So you may still see some people over there in the afternoon for an hour or so. Then city staff will be working to drain and winterize and close up shop for the winter. I will have a financial report at the next meeting for you to review the operations for this year. Attached is a letter that we received from the Kansas Department of Agriculture regarding the Rattlesnake Creek watershed basin and Quivira Wildlife Refuge. This letter indicates they will not call for water in 2025, so you can read more about that. You may have remembered in the past, I think Julie Lyon came and talked about it, and it's been news of the region also, potential impairments to water right holders in the Rattlesnake Creek Basin. So because that does affect us, we did get a letter to notify us of that. And then on the topic of water, the Kansas Water Authority is holding some statewide local consult meetings to get input on their next Kansas water plan, and there will be one in Dodge on September 18th that I plan to attend. If you're interested in those, I can send you the information. They're holding them across the state in different regions, and Dodge is the closest one to us. So I think that's all I have for tonight.
Questions for Stacy?
While we're talking about water, refresh my memory where we were at with Lochner on the water well out at the airport. Are they putting it out for bids? Has it been put out for bids?
Not yet. They're finalizing the design specs. I forget, he had said they had sent it to somebody for review just to make sure before they put it out. But we'll be advertising that soon. I actually sent an email today to check in to see where the status of that is.
When you say design specs, are you talking to complete the water well or to put in water supply
Yes.
throughout the airport down?
All of that.
Okay.
And the septic,
Yeah.
all of it, yes.
I didn't know where we were at.
Yeah.
I knew we talked about bids, but I didn't know whether they were out.
Yeah, they were going back over all the specs to make sure that the package is how it should be before putting it out to bid.
Okay.
But I anticipate that will be, in the next couple weeks, that it will be advertised. And then once those bids are received, that will come to you for final approval to look at the bids and decide.
Other questions for Stacy? Moving on, do we have any governing body comments tonight? Hearing none, we will move on to our final item. We do have an executive session requested tonight, just 5 minutes to discuss data relating to financial affairs or trade secrets of second parties.
I make a motion, we go into executive session until 6:20 PM.
Second that.
Been moved and seconded to adjourn to executive session. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
There you go.
All right, we are back in open session, no action taken. And that does bring us to the end of our